afternoon. Am I heard? Hep, hep? Hooray, hooray? Okay, buhay pa. So this morning was really full of bits of information, no? So we will make this first session a little lighter. Kasi kanina medyo, information overload. Am I right? O kayo pa naman ang puntahan ng SDS at saka ng ating resource speaker, no? So, dun pa lang, busog na tayo. Okay? So, today, no, yung program design, I hope you received training matrix. So, we'll just have a short review of the design. Okay? Oh, medyo din. So, day 1, so we're done with the first half of day 1. So, we're done with the guiding, no? Guiding the teachers in understanding the design and implementation of the Matatag curriculum discussed by our dear speaker, Dr. Paulilen. And before him, it was our SDS who talked about the Matatag agenda. Okay, it was just an inspirational message, but she gave us a very meaty talk on the Matatag agenda. And this afternoon, we will have the program design and the shaping paper. So I will discuss a bit of the shaping paper, but since videos will be shown, so I'll just introduce the videos. Okay, and then to be followed by the 21st century skills in the Matatag curriculum. So what are they? So usually 4 skills lang, no? But actually there are 4 skills under a lot of skills. Okay? And then, di ba, we are discussing 21st century skills. Pero ano ng taon ngayon? 2024 na. So 24 years na ang nagdaan. Tapos ngayon pa lang natin pinag-uusapan ang 21st century skills. So ibig sabihin lamang, marami tayong trabaho. As educators, di ba? Marami tayong hahabulin. And to be followed by the Matatag Curriculum Instructional Design Framework. A bit was discussed by Sir Paulilen, but it will be deepened by our speaker, Dr. Feliciano. Okay? The next, tomorrow, no, until 2:30 p.m. will be plenary. Okay? Plenary, so dito pa rin tayo. No? And we will talk about integrating 21st century skills in classroom-based assessment, and then the classroom practices to promote inclusion for special needs education learners, or SNED, then unpacking of competencies, which will be again discussed by our speaker, Dr. Paulilen, and then after him, we'll have the breakout sessions. So you will be meeting the supervisors and principals who were trained on Matatag curriculum. Okay? And then, you will do that until so we'll have again plenary on the 3rd day. It's about classroom observation in the context of Matatag curriculum. And then, are you ready that some of you will be demonstrating a lesson on Thursday? So one from each class. So we have 18 classes. So we have kinder, grade 1, and then 8 subjects in grade 4, then 8 subjects in grade 7, a total of 18 classes. So there will be 18 teachers who will be chosen from among you, to demonstrate a lesson using the unpacked competencies and using the lesson exemplars that you will be receiving or scanning during the breakout sessions. O sino kaya mag-volunteer? 1 per class. No, and then tingnan natin how are you going to do it, and then critique a bit, mga ganon. Okay, that will be done on the last day. Okay? So we have instructional design framework per breakout session, and then the demo teaching, which I mentioned, and then the management of school-based professional development programs, and the closing program. Okay, so that is our design. Okay, yan ang gagawin natin for 3 days. Okay? Okay, next is the shaping paper. Paano nabuo ang ating matatag curriculum? Bakit ba kailangan mag-revise ng curriculum? Di pa nga natin nakikita ang resulta, di ba, ng ating K-12. Okay? So this is the story of our matatag curriculum. Okay, so I am Heidi F. Ferrer. I'll just be facilitating the general shape of the matatag curriculum. Okay, our objectives. So this session, we'll talk about the context of the K-12 program, the curriculum revision process and factors that guided the revisions, and the salient features of the matatag curriculum. So in other words, at the end of this session, you have to understand the context of the K-12 program, describe the curriculum revision process and factors that guided the revisions, and identify the salient features of the matatag curriculum. Okay, and are you familiar with the professional standards? So mayroon po tayong PPSS or Domain 1, Supporting Curriculum Management and Implementation. We have PPSSH or the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads. And we have PPST or Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Yung nauna, PPSS, that is Philippine Professional Standards for Supervisors. So lahat yan, pag teachers kayo, that will be HIT, Curriculum and Planning. Okay, so these are the standards that we need to have. And that will be hit or addressed once we're done with this session. Okay, and session flow. So we will be showing a video on context of the K-12 program. Ano ba ang meron sa K-12 program? Bakit kailangan mag-revise ng curriculum? So that's why we will be showing a video again on curriculum revision process and what are the factors that guided the Bureau of Curriculum Development in revising our curriculum. And of course, ano ba ang characteristics ng ating matatag curriculum? Ano ba ang meron kanina? I think na-discuss yung ilan. Features of the matatag. Anyone? Ano ba yung features na nabanggit kanina? Decongested curriculum. So that's one. Okay? So let's start. Thank you.
The introduction of the K-12 program in the Philippines marks pivotal moments in our education landscape. Our country adopted the K-12 program, which was made into law by virtue of Republic Act 10533. It aimed to enhance the Philippine basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years of basic education from 10 years to 12 years. Prior to the implementation of the K-12, the Philippines had been one of only 3 remaining countries in the world, the other 2 being Djibouti and Angola, who have 10 years of basic education. The phased implementation of K-12 was adopted, which means that kindergarten learners were the first batch to start the K-12 education in school year 2011-2012, followed by grade 1 and grade 7 learners in school year 2012-2013, then progressively for other grade levels until the program was implemented in school year 2017-2018, having grade 6 and grade 12 learners as the first cohort of the K-12 grade 6 and grade 12 graduates. This coming school year, 2023-2024, we will have our first batch of graduates who have fully gone through the entire gamut of the K-12 program. As with any curricular reform, the K-12 program is not without challenges. Results of both national and international assessments reveal no improvement in the academic performance of learners. Moreover, the emergence of compelling research on the nature of learners and the process of learning emphasizes the need for basic education institutions to keep abreast of global future trends while addressing the changing needs and learning challenges of children. This, in turn, prompted an examination and enhancement of the K-12 curriculum in order to identify points for improvement to ultimately lift the quality of basic education. And so, the Department of Education, in partnership with the Assessment, Curriculum, Technology, and Research Center, conducted a rigorous review of our current K-12 curriculum, drawing insights from education stakeholders, including academia, industry, and public and private school teachers. With their help and those of experts, we have come to terms with what truly are the key opportunities for improvement in the current curriculum. As a result, the shape of the Matatag curriculum was crafted to communicate the process behind the curriculum review and revision, and more importantly, set the future direction and provide a basis for developing the shaping papers for each learning area. What we found in the curriculum review are the following. Firstly, the curriculum content is congested. The congested curriculum was causing severe stress to both students and teachers, resulting in learning problems and issues.
So I hope you are taking down notes.
To decongest.
Parang nasa test yan, no?
Teachers do not have time to teach all the learning competencies, resulting in students not reaching the minimum standards in curriculum content. We have also found misplaced prerequisite learning competencies. Because the curriculum does not always identify prerequisites sequentially or explicitly, the learning competencies need to be revisited to ensure proper sequencing and mastery of prerequisite skills before complex skills can be introduced. Thirdly, there is an imbalance of cognitive demand. These findings suggest that our foundational skills in the key stages, especially in kindergarten to grade 3, need to be strengthened to ensure better learning engagement among the students. Other than the curriculum review findings, we also considered the dismal performance of our learners in both local and international large-scale assessments, as well as international benchmarks for education systems, such as those of Singapore, US, and Australia. These point us to issues that urgently call for our attention and action. ILSA results and international benchmarks suggest that there is significant work to be done in improving the educational outcomes for our learners. And so, we begin with our curriculum.
Okay, so we all know the context of the K-12 program. So we have 12 years. And what is that RA that enhances the curriculum? Our RA 105-33. And we have 10 years, from 10 to 12 years. And despite adding 2 years to our basic education, what's the result of our PISA? What's the result of our teams? Ano pa rin? Panglas pa rin. So that prompted the Bureau of Curriculum Development to review our curriculum. And what are their findings? One is congested curriculum. Tama nga naman, di ba? Nagkakandaw-daga pa tayo to cover everything, cover to cover. Ang tanong pa nga natin, natapos mo ba cover to cover? Ba yung competencies or yung lessons sa libro? Di ba? What else? What's the second? Okay, misplaced prerequisite competencies. Okay? And the third, imbalance of cognitive demand. Okay, now, so they decided to review the curriculum. Now, what's the process that our Bureau of Curriculum Development used to revise the curriculum? Okay, next please. Okay, next.
After the curriculum review, we proceeded with the curriculum revision process, which took about 2 years and entailed a series of steps from the development of the shaping papers and curriculum guides and validation of these documents to revision, public review, and finalization of the shaping papers and curriculum guides. The public review of the shaping papers and curriculum guides was a new step in the curriculum revision process. This was the initiative of the Vice President and Secretary herself when she vowed to be transparent with curriculum guides. That is, sharing these documents to interested education stakeholders who help us develop a robust curriculum. In this huge task of revising the curriculum, we have listened to various voices and perspectives and showed our commitment to engage our stakeholders in making decisions crucial to the future of every Filipino learner. We have engaged a sizable number of collaborators and contributors composed of DepEd specialists, DepEd teachers, school heads, and supervisors, consultants, experts from higher education institutions such as the University of the Philippines, Ateneo de Manila University, De La Salle University, University of Santo Tomas, and Philippine Normal University, among others. External stakeholders, including civil society organizations such as Alliance for the Family Foundation Philippines, and industry leaders like the Tourism Industry Board Foundation and IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines, and government stakeholders, private schools, the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, Association of Christian Schools, Colleges and Universities, and the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities and Organizations, and even international experts. After going through the revision process, we have subjected the curriculum to a public review, which, as I have previously mentioned, is something novel, as this was the first time that the national curriculum was subjected to public scrutiny and encouraged the public and interested stakeholders to provide feedback on the shaping papers and curriculum guides for kindergarten to grade 10. From the 4,843 respondents, composed of students, teachers, school owners, government agencies, private organizations, and non-governmental organizations, among others, we have generated 96% public approval rate for the general shaping paper, which served as a guide in developing the shaping papers and curriculum guides for all learning areas. The results of the survey revealed that the goals, features, pedagogy, and assessment of the curriculum are appropriate and clear, the competencies are appropriate to the learners' levels, and the curriculum puts focus on literacy and numeracy skills. It is important to highlight that we meticulously considered other qualitative feedback and conducted revisions following the public review.
So how many participated in the public review? There were 4,683 teachers, non-teaching personnel, administrators, principals, and supervisors. Were you one of them? Okay. So, what are the processes again mentioned in the video? There were how many processes that our curriculum underwent? So, the first one is, of course, the development of the curriculum, followed by validation. So they went to the field and asked the teachers. The third, finalization. Then after finalization, what did they do? Okay, the most novel daw that they used in revising the curriculum. And that is the public review. Kayo yung una kong tanong kung sumama ba kayo doon. Kasi inopen yun to everyone. And there were only 4,683 respondents. And how many percentage they got for public approval? 96%. So napakataas. So, ibig sabihin, 4% lang ang hindi nag-agree sa na-develop na curriculum. Okay? So that is the process ng ating bagong matatag curriculum. Now, what are the salient features or factors? Ano ba? Maliban sa nabanggit na kanina, what are other factors that guided the BCD in revising the curriculum? Next, please.
Our revision of the curriculum was guided by several key factors, including the insights gleaned from the curriculum review findings, international large-scale assessment results, and international benchmarks, and alignment with the overarching goals outlined in the Matatag education agenda. We also followed some basic learning principles. Learning is not possible in an overcrowded curriculum. Curriculum overload can be a stressor to students and teachers and even serve as an impediment to learning. Learning competencies must be age appropriate. When adults expect young children to master skills for which the necessary maturity has not yet been formed, we are impairing healthy brain development by excessively stressing the child. If pushed and rushed, a child's desire to learn will be hampered, his or her learning spirit crippled. Learning starts from what learners already know and can do. Learning something new is predicated on what one already knows. For example, prior knowledge. Prior knowledge could reduce cognitive load, leading to better learning engagement. Learning involves progression, where more complex skills are built on foundational skills. Much learning tends to follow an expected path or progression, where more complex skills are built on foundational skills. For example, gross motor development in the early years tend to follow a typical trajectory.
So again, what are the factors that guided our BCD in revising the curriculum? One is, syempre, yung curriculum findings. Second, the results of our international large-scale assessments. And the last, our Matatag agenda, which was discussed by our SDS this morning, yung Matatag. Okay? And this time, let's determine the salient features of the Matatag curriculum. Ilang subjects na ba ang grade 1, ang kinder, grade 2, grade 3, etc., etc. Okay? Video please.
what are the main features ng matatag curriculum? The main features are focus on foundational skills. So we focus on literacy and numeracy skills in K to 3. Decongested curriculum. We significantly reduced the number of learning competencies. Balanced cognitive demands. As the grade level progresses, there is a shift from the focus on the low levels to higher order thinking skills. Clear articulation of 21st century skills. So there is an emphasis on the 21st century skills such as information, media and technology skills, learning and innovation skills, communication skills, and life and career skills. Reduce learning areas. Reduce learning areas from 7 to 5 in Key Stage 1. Intensified values education and strengthen peace education. Intensification of values formation of learners to good manners and right conduct, and values education in adherence to Republic Act 11476 and integration of these concepts into the curriculum, and we made sure that our curriculum is on par with international standards. Our major concern was the congestion of the curriculum, which necessitated streamlining its intent and content. As seen on this slide, the Matatag curriculum for grade 1 has shifted from offering 7 learning areas to only 5 that focus on strengthening literacy and numeracy. New learning areas, language, reading and literacy, and makabansa are introduced. These learning areas have been deliberately crafted rather than simply merging or integrating the existing learning areas. The creation of a language curriculum gives more emphasis to the development of oral language skills for communication in the learner's first language, which is essential in developing foundational skills for literacy and learning other content areas. Reading and literacy equips learners with a strong foundation in reading skills, comprehension, and critical thinking, and concurrently fosters a love for reading and helps learners develop the necessary skills to become confident and proficient readers. Mathematics remains a significant part of the Matatag curriculum. Mathematics is not just about numbers and equations, but equips students with problem-solving abilities, logical reasoning skills, and the capacity to think analytically, all critical for their future endeavors. In the Matatag curriculum, our goal is to move beyond rote learning and make mathematics an engaging and enriching learning area for our students as early as grade 2. We also introduced a new learning area called Makabansa that seamlessly weaves vital contents and skills from civics, arts and culture, history, and physical education and health. Layunin ng mga bansa na maitintal sa murang kaisipan ng mga mag-aaral ang malalim na pag-unawa sa sarili ang kolektibong pagkakakilanlan bilang isang Pilipino na nakaugat sa kanyang pagiging bahagi ng komunidad, bayan, lungsod, lalawigan at naging rehiyon. Payayabuhin ng araling panlipunan sa mga susunod na baitang ang nasyonalismo, patriotismo at kagalingang pansibiko bilang isang Pilipino, Asyano at mamamayan ng daigdig. Finally, the fifth curriculum contents we streamlined is GMRC, or Good Manners and Right Conduct, which we believe needs more emphasis in a world that is increasingly without borders, where we need to teach learners how to respectfully engage various relational dynamics in a changing world and be inclusive citizens of their communities and the world. In sum, we reduced the learning areas with only 5 for grade 1 and grade 2, 6 for grade 3, and 8 for grades 4 to 10. Ang mga bansa ay naglalayong makahubog ng isang aktibong mag-aaral sa pamamagitan ng paglinang ng mahalagang kasanayang nagpapamanas ng pagkakakilanlan, pagkamalikhain, pagkamalusog, at pagkapag-ugnayan sa kapwa at sa iba pang aspeto ng lipunan tungo sa pagiging holistikong Pilipinong taglay ang ika-21 siglong kasanayan. Layunin din itong mapaunlad ng mga mag-aaral ang pag-unawa sa sarili at kultural na kamalayan, kasanayan upang maging malusog at malikhain at may kakayahang makikipag-ugnayan sa kapwa at pamayanan. Kabansa will be reinforced in grades 4 to 10 as learners examine and understand nationalism in the context of the national narratives, Southeast Asian context, and global dynamics and processes in Aralin Panlipunan. Sa murang isipan pa lamang ng mga bata ay naiitintal na sa kanila na alamin ang Pilipinas at sa mga susunod na balitang maipamulat na mahalin ito at pagsisintihan nila ito. Know the Philippines, love the Philippines, and serve the Philippines is heavily inculcated in mga bansa and Aralin Panlipunan learning areas and widens their understanding as they tackle Southeast Asia context and global dynamics and processes. We decongested the curriculum by 70% while ensuring that the heavier weight of the learning areas would be on English, Filipino, Science, Mathematics, and EPE, or Technical Livelihood Education, all of which supports our focus on the essential skills of literacy and numeracy. The act of decongesting our curriculum, reducing overcrowding, and focusing on the essential elements of learning has profound implications for our learners' educational experiences. First, this approach now provides learners with the time needed to truly understand and assimilate the foundational elements of learning rather than simply dabbling in a vast array of topics. Second, a less crowded curriculum allows learners to focus more intently on each learning area, leading to a deeper comprehension and retention of knowledge. Ultimately, the net effect of this transformation is a more targeted, effective, and meaningful learning experience. We ensured that all components under each 21st century skill are clearly defined with specific examples that manifest in various learning areas. We recognize the importance of reinforcing the 21st century skills of our Filipino learners, aiming to equip them beyond just the traditional learning domains. The focus is on developing competencies that are vital in today's digital and global world. These include digital literacy. As we inhabit an increasingly digital world, the curriculum aims to enhance learners' ability to use, create, and understand digital media, ensuring they can navigate this digital age effectively. Critical thinking and problem solving. These skills are paramount in a complex world. We aim to enhance learners' capacity to analyze situations, make decisions, and solve problems creatively and efficiently. Future orientation or thinking. This refers to the ability to anticipate future trends and consequences, demonstrating forward thinking and strategic planning skills crucial in a rapidly evolving world. Resilience and adversity management. This skill set empowers students to face challenges, recover from setbacks, adapt to change, and keep going in the face of adversity. By strengthening these key areas, the Matatag curriculum aims to ensure that our learners are not only knowledgeable, but also adaptable, forward-thinking, resilient, and well-equipped for the 21st century. Values education is now intensified to ensure we inculcate the right values across all levels, from kindergarten to grade 10. We have done this by introducing good manners and right conduct in kindergarten to grade 6 and values education in grade 7 to 10. This is also in keeping with the GMRC and values education law. The focus here is on nurturing the learner's essential socio-emotional skills such as empathy and resilience, contributing to their emotional well-being and interpersonal relationships, and ultimately building a strong character. O ang tapang humarap sa anumang hamon, foster social responsibility, and encourage active community participation. Ang pagsasabuhay ng pagmamahal sa Diyos, sarili, pamilya at kapwa, kalikasan, bansa at daigdig, tungo sa kabutihang panlahat ay tinuturo dito sapagkat ang tumuhin ng asikaturang ito ay makapaghubog ng kabataang Pilipino na nagpapasya ng mapanagutan, kumikilos ng may wasing pag-uugali at pagpili sa kabutihan. According to the United Nations, in strengthening peace education, learners are provided with a set of values, attitudes, norms of behavior, and ways of life that stand against violence and prevent conflicts by tackling their root causes to solve problems through principled dialogue and negotiation among individuals, groups, and nations. These education concepts such as self-awareness, community engagement, rights and responsibilities, community resilience, human security, disaster risk reduction and mitigation, and peace security, among others, are systematically integrated in the different learning areas across grade levels. Vision, concepts such as culture and intercultural relations, environmental stewardship, and local, national, and global systems and processes which are found in Makabansa, Araling Panlipunan, GMRC and Values Education, Science, and even MAPE, Advanced Peace Education in the curriculum. These are to be taught following an expanding environment model which starts at the personal level, followed by relational, local, national, and global perspectives. Finally, these are articulated not only in cognitive dimensions, but more importantly, in socio-emotional aspects and behavioral terms, which ensure holistic development among Filipino learners.
Okay, so what was the question before the video was played? The 7 salient features of the Matatag curriculum. So what's the first one? Focus on foundational skills. That's why we have reading and literacy, language in grades 1, 2, and 3. Okay, next. Again? Okay, decongested curriculum from 11,500 something to 3,400 something. Okay, next. Balanced cognitive demand. So, hindi lang pang lower thinking skills, pang higher order thinking skills pang ating activities. Next. Clearer articulation of the 21st century skills. So after this session, you will have the 21st century skills. No? So somebody will discuss on that. Okay, next. Reduce learning area. So ang grade 1, ilan na? 5. Ang grade 2? 5. Ang grade 3? 6. 4 to 10? 8. Okay, next. So, alam na yung sagot. No? Alam na yung sagot sa test. Okay, next. 5, 5, 6, 8. Parang hindi malito. 5, 5, 6, 8. Okay, next. Refined or intensified peace education and enhanced values education. So, take note, ang grade 4, GMRC, ang secondary ay values education. Okay, next. Okay, on the par. Okay, so dapat we are globally or locally competitive na ang ating magiging mga estudyante. Okay? And to assess your understanding of the shaping paper of Matatag Curriculum, kindly, so balik tayo, yan. So you just need to answer, so you get your cell phone and access the Padlet using this link or QR code. And then, you can see plus sign. Just click that plus sign and then type your name and your school as the blog title. Okay, and then answer these questions. What are the stages of the curriculum revision process? And list down the salient features of the Matatag curriculum. And then click submit. Okay, balik sa QR code or link. Pwede niyong picturean, so later on you can access the Padlet. Okay, questions? What are the stages of the curriculum revision process? And list down the salient features of the Matatag curriculum. Okay. Then, as my last slide, it says there, a good curriculum is not about covering content, diba? Cover to cover. It's about creating experiences for students to engage with and make meaning of the content. So it's very important that we make our lessons relevant, to make that lesson meaningful to our learners. Okay, so as we embark on this new journey, new curriculum, what do you think is our biggest or strongest asset? As educators, what do you think? Sir, what do you think is our biggest or strongest asset as educator since we will be dealing with a new curriculum?
I think we will be able to learn to be innovative.
Innovative, yes.
Flexibility.
Flexibility, sir.
We are phenomenal.
Oh, I am phenomenal. The word for the day. And last, sir, what do you think?
Adaptability.
Stability, okay? Iwanan ko that for me, the strongest asset is the collective dedication in education, diba? Let us embrace the change, 3 C's. Let us embrace the change, let us embrace the challenge, and don't be afraid in cascading. Since you are, how many are you in in this seminar, and I think some of the teachers are not around who will be implementing the Matatag curriculum. Hopefully, you will be cascading that to them. So 3 C's, embrace the challenge, embrace the change, and please cascade this to your fellow teachers. Okay? And may I ask everyone, kindly say, together we shape the future. One more time, yung mas malakas. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the shape of the Matatag curriculum. Good afternoon.